Alright, a lot of you guys have been asking, Nick, what are the most profitable side hustles? Nick, how can I make money? Well, for the most profitable side hustle, you're going to have to take off both your shoe and your sock, like so. Gonna have to lift up your leg, take your phone, take your camera, and position it just like so. Okay, no, I'm not going to tell you to sell feet pics, though absolutely no hate to those that do. I mean, make that money however you can, but we are going to go through 10 truly unique side hustles that you probably won't find across YouTube and other videos like this, and you definitely won't find on your generic @entrepreneurial hustle mindset Instagram page. There are generally 3 types of people that end up pursuing side hustles, and it's important to understand which bucket you fall into to kind of give you an extra motivation, an extra kick in the pants to actually get started on a side hustle. So first up, we have someone that is using a side hustle to help make ends meet, whether that's with their actual necessities like housing, food, maybe car payments, different things like that, or with their hobbies. Maybe they're into some expensive hobbies that they can't really justify allocating budget for out of just their regular job salary because that would put stress in other parts of their lives. Like maybe they're into skiing, boating, underwater basket weaving, something that's really, really expensive, but something that still brings them a lot of joy, so they still want to do it. Using a side hustle to bring in some extra cash to either make ends meet with necessary expenses or with hobby expenses is something that is extremely, extremely common. Next up, the second category of people. Let's say you have a really good job that covers all of your necessary expenses, covers all your hobby expenses, but you want to start bringing in some extra money so you can invest it and reach financial independence sooner. This is also a very big category of side hustlers, especially in today's day and age where often a lot of people follow different career paths that they think they're supposed to do but end up not really enjoying very much. So instead of staring down the barrel of a 40-year working career, they're saying hey, if I can side hustle and bring in an extra $1,000, $2,000 a month, if I invest all of that into either the stock market or rental real estate, maybe this would give me an exit door to my corporate gig in maybe the next 5, 10, 15 years instead of having to work there until I'm 65. And number 3 is why I personally got into side hustles back when I was a teenager. It's if money is sort of a stressful topic in your house, there's not a lot of extra money to go around, you can kind of feel like a burden whenever you ask your parents to buy you a new video game console, new video games, new snowboarding gear, new paintballing gear, pay for sports fees. I think the football sign-up fee at my high school is probably $300, $400, which is insane to think about. But you can kind of feel like a burden asking your parents for this sort of money when you know that this money isn't very readily available. You know it's not money doesn't grow on trees around your house. And you want to start bringing in money of your own so you can basically cover your own costs and not feel like you're burdening your parents. This is why I personally started my original YouTube channel back when I was 14 or 15 years old. So good can come out of this, and it's great to display entrepreneurial spirit early on. But even if the minimum that you do is bringing in some extra money to take some weight off your parents' shoulders, it's a very noble thing to do. So I salute you if you are going down that path. Now, number 10 is the side hustle that feels the least like a job, and it's something that people like me do on a daily basis without getting paid for it, which is walking dogs. Now, we're gonna go a step beyond the dog walking apps like Wag and Rover, so if you're already familiar with these, don't skip to the next section just yet. Now, if you're not familiar with these apps, Wag and Rover will allow you to sign up to walk other people's dogs after a thorough vetting process, of course, pun intended. A 30-minute walk in these apps usually pays around $12 plus tip, which isn't bad for literally just hanging out with a dog, but it's also not great money, and you're limited to walking dogs from one household at a time, so it's really hard to scale if you just use the apps. Now, if you do want to scale this business up and make a real money from just walking other people's dogs, you can use these apps to build a solid base of people that trust you to walk their dog and actually enjoy working with you. You can take their business off app, and of course, assuming everybody is cool with it, you could walk multiple dogs at a time. If you can walk 5 dogs at once at $15 a dog, that could be $75 for 30 minutes of work, and if you do this 4 times a day, that's $300. Or you could be like these crazy people I saw out in LA, which gave me the idea for the side hustle, who are walking 10 plus dogs at the same time. I mean, I have no idea how they do it. I have enough trouble just wrangling this guy in his walks. Our next side hustle is hosting Airbnb Experiences. Now, Airbnb isn't only a place where you can rent out your house, which is a great side hustle, by the way, but I'm gonna make the wild assumption that you don't currently have a house to rent out. Airbnb also allows you to offer things called experiences, even if you don't host a property on the platform, which is super cool. Now, the goal of experiences is to give travelers, or even locals, just fun activities to do during their stay that feel authentic to the area they're traveling to. This can be a great way to monetize your hobbies. I mean, for example, I live in Denver, Colorado, and I love to hike. If we take a look at Denver's experiences, there are 31 hiking tours being offered starting around like 50 to 60 bucks a person. You can make your listing stand out by providing a premium offering like Tyler here, who is able to charge 150 bucks per person because he's a photographer who takes professional pictures of you while you hike. I mean, how cool is that? The opportunities here really are endless. I mean, just to give you some more ideas, you could host a kayaking trip, a food tour by bike, light photography at night, topless on a boat. I mean, that'd require you to have a boat, but still pretty cool. Goat yoga, which required to have goats, but hey, you guys might be farm boys, I don't know. Surf lessons, cooking classes. I mean, the list really does go on and on. If you can think of a hobby, you can probably monetize it on Airbnb Experiences. If you want to try out hosting an experience, I have linked that down in the description. Side hustle number 8 is something I covered extensively in this ancient video of mine, so we'll just touch on it briefly here. It's creating thumbnails for YouTube and even Instagram and TikTok videos. If you clicked on this video right here that you're watching, chances are the thumbnail played a huge part in your decision. Now, it doesn't matter how great my content is or any other creator's content is, if nobody clicks your video to begin with, it won't perform very well. Click-through rate is one of the most important stats that YouTubers track, and thumbnail plus title, but mostly thumbnail, plays a huge part in that. YouTubers especially know how important thumbnails are, so they're willing to invest a lot of time and money into making a good one. I mean, Mr. Beast famously spends like 10K on each thumbnail. Now, the typical thumbnail designer can't expect to command these sorts of rates. I mean, hey, if I could get 10K per thumbnail I designed, I would ditch all content creation, go straight into being a full-time thumbnail designer. Now, realistically, right away when you start, you can probably charge like 20 bucks per thumbnail and then work your way up the ranks to maybe around like $500, $600, $700 per thumbnail if you can get connected to a larger YouTuber. But Nick, how do I make thumbnails? I don't want to pay for Photoshop. There are a ton of free editing tools out there on the internet, and the one I personally use is Canva. Now, this is going to sound like an ad, but I promise it is not an ad. I actually did sign up for an affiliate link for them though, just for this video, but I was going to promote them like this regardless. So Canva is how I make every piece of art for my personal business, like from my profile picture to my slide decks to media kits to thumbnails. Basically everything I make on my own, I make in Canva. Now, as someone who has never trained to be a graphic designer or anything, and I'm definitely not like artistically talented, Canva makes creating digital art super easy. If you want to check it out, like I mentioned, I did grab an affiliate link just for this video. I have that down in the description. So now that you know how to make thumbnails, where in the world do you actually like find clients? Where do you find people to actually pay you for this sort of stuff? This past October, YouTube's top creator consultant Patty Galloway launched ytjobs.co. Again, this is not an ad, but it's a brand new thing in the world of content creation. It actually created a job board for YouTubers. So as a YouTuber, you can go out there and post like thumbnail jobs that you want filled, whether they're full-time, part-time, whatever. And as a thumbnail designer, you can post your services for hire on ytjobs.co. It's super cool. One of the easier side hustles you can sell to your immediate friends, family, classmates, whoever, is a resume creation and review service. Now, especially for your first couple of jobs, resumes are the #1 determining factor of whether or not you're actually chosen for an interview. Now, it's hard to get a job if you don't get an interview, so it's pretty important to have a good resume. Now, the problem is, unless you're one of the lucky few people who took a resume writing class in college, which are very few and far between, your resume probably sucks. So let's say you're in college and you have classmates that are applying to what they hope will be their eventual full-time jobs, or even just internships that they hope will lead to a full-time job somewhere down the line. If these jobs will pay like mid to upper 5 figures, it makes sense for someone to pay like 50 to 150 bucks to make sure their resume is solid enough to get chosen for an interview. Side hustle number 6 is sort of a 3-in-1, but one of the easiest and fastest ways to start earning money is to outsource a task that many other people need to do, but either don't like doing it or don't have the necessary equipment to do it. Outsourcing lawn care or shoveling driveways is the perfect example of outsourcing something that people can usually do themselves unless they're getting up there in age, which, hey, side note, it may be a good idea to market yourself in older neighborhoods, but people are usually happy to outsource this sort of work, especially if it's like the neighbor kid looking to earn an extra buck by saving you some time by mowing your lawn or shoveling your driveway. This is one of the oldest side hustles around for a very, very good reason. I mean, with one investment of like $100 to $200 into a lawnmower from Facebook Marketplace, you could bring in like $20 to $100 in the high end per lawn that you mow. And the startup cost is even lower for snow shoveling. I mean, you can start with like a $10 plastic shovel and earn like $20 in the low end up to like $75 in the high end if maybe you shovel a driveway and someone's sidewalk in front of their house. That could be like a 7x return on your initial investment on your very first job. And if you want to keep rolling the profits and want to keep getting more customers, more clients, shoveling more driveways, you could reinvest your profits into a snowblower and be able to do more driveways in less time. Pressure washing is very similar to both of these, but it's unique in the fact that most people do not own their own pressure washers. I mean, here's a comment I saw in one of Nate O'Brien's videos that shows how a 17-year-old bought a pressure washer for $200, and now he charges his clients $100 an hour to pressure wash their garages, exteriors of homes, whatever. Again, the return on investment with these side hustles is going to be absolutely crazy. The main thing you're really selling here is your time. Side hustle number 5 is up there with dog walking is one of the most fun ideas on this list, becoming a secret shopper. So secret or mystery shoppers, like dog walkers, are paid to do something that most of us do for free. Shop at stores and dine at restaurants. The purpose of these secret shoppers is to just act like normal customers and then provide feedback to the store or restaurant regarding cleanliness, customer service, quality of the product, a whole wide range of different things. So for the service, secret shoppers are paid a set fee, and then they also get reimbursed up to a set amount for the products that they buy while they're at the targeted store. As far as pay goes, it really is like all over the place. I mean, it can range anywhere from like $12 plus a free meal for like a one-off gig to up to like $1,000 plus per week if you really put a lot of effort into this stuff. These are the 5 main secret shopping companies. I'd recommend signing up with them if you want to try this out because there are a ton of scams in this space. I mean, it makes sense. This seems like a position that a lot of people would like really want to try out. I mean, hey, who doesn't want to get paid to shop or pay to go eat out at a restaurant or something? So there's a lot of bad actors in the space. Here are 3 rules of thumb to make sure you do not get taken advantage of in this space if you try to become a secret shopper. So 1 is to never pay to join a secret shopping company. 2 is to never pay to see a list of jobs from a secret shopping company. And 3, legit secret shopping companies should never force you to take any certain number of jobs. This really is completely employment at will. If you want to take a job, you can take a job, but if you don't want to take a job, they're not going to be able to force you to take a job. We'll end this section with a fun real-life example of a secret shopper position. So Colorado, like seemingly most places in the US these days, is known for its huge number of breweries. As a secret hopper, you're paid to go test out different breweries. Yeah, you're literally paid to go have a brew at a brewery. It really isn't a bad gig if you're into that sort of stuff. If you're someone who, like me, used the last couple of years to buy a bunch of outdoor toys that you don't necessarily use that often anymore, you should consider renting them out. Like if you have toys like bikes, tents, paddleboards, skis, surfboards, kayaks, canoes, or even tools like lawnmowers, ladders, snowblowers, like the pressure washers we talked about earlier, and even vehicles and parking spaces, it can be rented out on platforms like these. I mean, on Utilize, I saw things like mountain bikes and ladders going for $100 a day, and things like vacuums and gardening gear go for $15 a day. This is a great way to generate passive income from things that you own and don't necessarily want to give up just yet, though obviously on the flip side, this will add more wear and tear to your items. It won't be a huge source of revenue unless you're renting out something pretty valuable. Side hustle number 3 was pretty popular a couple years ago when it was first introduced, but I haven't really heard a lot of buzz about it recently. It's charging e-scooters. The Lime, Spins, I mean, whatever e-scooters operate in your area obviously run on battery power, and someone needs to be responsible for charging them overnight and bringing them back out to the streets in the morning. Now, some companies like Lyft actually employ their own scooter chargers, like these are full-time employees, or at least part-time employees, but most of the other brands leave it open to ambitious side hustlers like you to go out there, grab those scooters, charge them, and earn a quick buck in reward for doing so. Now, we'll use Lime as an example to get started here. So to sign up to be a juicer, as they call them, which is really funny, it's a play on the name Lime, you do need to be 18, have a valid driver's license, have a social security number, own a smartphone, and even own a vehicle that can hold at least one scooter, even though a lot of juicers don't even use their vehicles when they're out there charging Limes. But if you meet this criteria, you can apply directly through the Lime app, and once you're approved, you'll be given some charging cords, and you can use the app to locate scooters that need charging. Lime typically wants you to wait until around 9 p.m. to pick up scooters for charging, and then wants them back on the street between like 4 and 7 in the morning. So if this is the side hustle you choose, you're probably not going to be getting a lot of sleep. It's going to be a lot of late-ish nights and a lot of early mornings. And if you do drop them off after that like 4 to 7 a.m. window in the morning, you may not get paid for your charging effort, so it really is important to be on time with this. Now, speaking of pay, expected earnings are around like $5 to $20 per charged scooter, plus any sign-on bonuses if you charge like X amount of scooters within X days of signing up. From what I've read, it usually is more towards like that $5 per scooter than the $20 per scooter. It's like $20 per scooter, or for scooters that are very, very hard to find or very low on battery, different things like that. Most scooters are gonna be like $5 to $10 per charge. Some people treat scooter charging as like a true side hustle and only charge like 1 or 2 scooters per night, which may be enough money over the course of the week to like cover their grocery costs or like eating out costs. But others are like this guy who make a full-time living off of this stuff and go just a little bit overboard. If you're close to a popular hiking destination, you can do Side Hustle 2, which is offering shuttle services to and from the trailheads. Now, if you're not into hiking, you're probably wondering, like, hey, why wouldn't these hikers just drive themselves to these trails that they want to hike on? I mean, most of the time they do, don't get me wrong. But if you're doing a multi-day trek with different start and end points, like the 6-day-long High Sierra Trail I did with 2 of my best friends back in 2020, hikers, especially those that are traveling in from out of state, probably need some help getting to the trailhead and then returning to civilization afterwards. I mean, you can imagine the logistical nightmare that planning all these different cars and different endpoints could turn into. Even if these trails are in popular like state or national parks, the existing transportation infrastructure doesn't usually support them very well, because even though these are popular hikes to go on, the vast majority of people visiting these state or national parks are not doing these long multi-day treks. This is where your opportunity lies. For example, the hike my friends and I did, you can actually see a picture of us right back here at the summit of Mount Whitney at the very end of it. It was out in the Sierra Nevada mountain range in Central California. Now, we don't live in California, so we flew in LAX, grabbed a rental car, and drove to the closest rental car drop-off point to the trailhead in a town called Visalia, which is like right outside of Fresno. Not a fun area to live in. I don't think I want to live out there. But from there, we had booked a ride in advance from a local community college professor for I think like $300 to drive us the hour and a half to the trailhead. Now, if you want to do some quick math about how much he earned here, so an hour and a half there plus an hour and a half back equals $100 per hour for him just driving some hikers up to a trailhead. That's really not bad money, and that's assuming that he didn't grab anybody else from the trailhead that was hiking the opposite direction and charged him another $300 for a ride back to civilization. He did these shuttles on the side for some extra money and meet interesting people. I mean, he was an older guy that liked telling stories. You could tell he was really more so into it for the conversation than the money. And I mean, all he really had for marketing was a very basic website with a simple contact form for booking and really nothing fancy at all. Yet his calendar was still as full as he wanted it to be with ride bookings, at least during the spring and summer hiking season. This sounds interesting, but you don't know if there's really any potential trailheads that would be like eligible for this sort of service around you. We do have a couple options. One, we can look at this lovely map here that looks at the 12 most popular hiking treks in North America. You'll see the main ones are the Pacific Crest Trail on the West Coast, the Continental Divide Trail in the Rockies, and the Appalachian Trail on the East Coast. Each one of these are multi-month-long hikes, but done by thousands of hikers each spring and summer who are definitely willing to pay for transportation. I mean, I haven't heard a lot of stories of people like parking in their car at one end of the trail, hiking months to the end, and then flying back down to get their car. That just usually isn't very convenient. And that is, again, where you come in. Or option number 2, if you aren't close to any of these longer trails, or at least the start of any of these longer trails, you can just go on the website All Trails. They also have an app, and search for any point-to-point hikes. So that means it's not a loop where they end at the same place they started. It's point to point. And I'd say the minimum mileage there should probably be like 25-ish miles. That's a good, solid benchmark for a multi-day hike. Once you find a trailhead or two to target, just spin up a simple website using either Squarespace or Wix. I'll link both in the description, and include either a contact form or like some sort of booking tool, and you'll be off to the races. And the number 1 side hustle is still pretty new, and one that I plan to do a full video review on because the revenue potential here is legitimately 5 figures plus per month. It is joining Amazon's influencer program and posting video reviews of products. So you're probably wondering, like, hey, what exactly does this entail? Well, those customer-made videos on Amazon product pages are mostly made by Amazon influencers. And if a customer watches, like, let's say it's about 30 seconds of your video and decides to buy that product, you get an affiliate commission from the sale. This strategy is like super exciting to me because there are thousands upon thousands of products on Amazon that don't have existing video reviews, and thousands of new products coming onto Amazon every single month that, again, don't have video reviews. And if you can add yours there, it could sit there for years, potentially making you passive income. Now, how does payment work here? So you're paid based on a percentage of the sale price of the product, and this percentage is determined by the category of the product. Since it's a percentage and not a flat fee, the smart thing to do here, if you're optimizing for the highest revenue potential possible, is to focus on high value items like mattresses, where even a 4% commission on something that's like $1,000 is still a decent amount of money, and high commission items like Amazon games or beauty products. But Nick, I only buy so much stuff from Amazon. What happens when I run out of stuff to review? So after you go through and make videos of all the stuff that you've already bought from Amazon, I mean, like half the stuff behind me is from Amazon, so I have plenty of stuff to work with. Try reaching out to sellers who don't already have product review videos and just ask them if they'd be willing to send you the product for free in return for a review video. I mean, it's basically free and valuable marketing for them, and then you get the free products plus the commission, so it often makes sense for both parties to do this. Now for the real question, how do you even join Amazon's influencer program? Well, there's a link. I will put that link down in the description, but there are a couple guidelines you need to meet that are pretty vague, admittedly. So they say you quote unquote need a following on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, or Facebook. They don't say how big this following needs to be, but I don't see an incentive for them to turn that many people down. I mean, the more people that are influencing for them, the more people that are driven to earn affiliate commissions, the more sales they make. So I'm guessing the follower threshold is pretty low. Let me know if you get approved or not down in the comments. And remember when I said that this is potentially a 5-figure opportunity per month? That's not just a number I'm pulling out of thin air. I'd have heard through the grapevine that another creator that's not my personal friend, but he's like one circle away, he tried this, and in his very first month doing this, he made $16,000. Like, that is legitimate money. That's enough money to quit jobs for most people. That's enough money to live on plus invest like more than half your money for most people. And it's exactly why I'm going to do a full video walkthrough of me signing up, posting product reviews, and I'll show my exact numbers after 1 month. So if that's something you want to see, and if you like different finance videos like this hitting your feed every week, make sure to subscribe and click that post notification bell to make sure you don't miss it. I'll leave you with these words of wisdom. There are 2 types of people: those that say they're gonna do something and those that actually do the thing. Guess which one ends up making money? Oh shoot, didn't see you guys there. Thanks for watching.